Technological innovations of the last few decades have played a crucial role in recent human history, and almost all functions of our societies are now reliant on computing. Huge amounts of wealth have been created on the digital boom, and its effects can be seen in all aspects of world economies. While technology has rocketed the human species into a new age, there's a hideous price to all of it that is almost never discussed openly. Computing has changed the world, but the acquisition of the components necessary to the production of electronics has created the worst human catastrophe in modern history. A genocide of unimaginable magnitude has just taken place in order for us to have our electronics, and the world media has remained almost completely silent. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the most recent publicity campaigns that you've been involved in regarding what's going on in the Congo?
Not only recent but successful campaign that we were doing not long ago in front of the Apple Store in town centre here in London. Oxford Circus is a town centre in London. So we went to mobilize people around the situation.
I'm here with Likay from Congo, who's protesting today outside of the Apple Store. Likay, would you tell us exactly why you're protesting today?
Yes, people, we're here today protesting in front of the Apple Store because there is a connection between the success of apples and the genocide in the Congo.
And because in last December, Apple announced the profit they made over the year, and we were trying to tie the profit Apple made and numbers of deaths in the Congo. You know, they all goes along because the more profit Apple makes, the more of us die, the more rape takes place, and the more dispersed community, destroyed community. You know, we were trying to tie Apple's profit and the bloods of our people, you know, and the genocide. Because now, except from the official governments, you know, British governments, and like most people recognize this is a second genocide in the Congo, and it's due to the coltan. Coltan is the material that is required to make a cell phone. Like whenever your phone rings, it doesn't explode because there's a material in there, you know, on the mobile phone called coltan. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, mobilize whoever consume apples to at least a minimum to require to Apple to say where does your raw material comes from, you know, to hold them to accountability. And, you know, it was quite successful. Since then, we had Apple making a press release that states that they're not buying any coltan that come from war zone, but that's just a lie because we need to carry on with them, like prove us, because 87% of the reserve of the coltan is in Eastern Congo. So when they say no war zone, we're still at war, you know, like just about yesterday, people were killed in the villages. So the question is, like, what do you mean when you say you're not going to buy natural resource, coltan that comes from a no war zone? We don't see where else, except maybe Australia, they had a very tiny reserve of those, but I don't think, you know, in the level of industrialized apples, it will be enough to hold apple going on for years. So that was one of the campaigns we were doing. Apple, they made a press release, say, you know, as I told you, they say from now they didn't know, you know, they didn't know that it was a war zone. But, you know, just if people trying to make an effort, they will know that apples, it's crazy. These corporations, they literally have militias. They literally have militias to do the work, to capture people, to make them work for free from sundown until sunup or whatever. But they claim to tell consumers here in the UK that they didn't know that, you know, there was such thing as like early in the 90s where they were doing blood diamond. You know, diamond from conflict zone, and they came up with something called Kimberley certificate. So they were trying to do. When you trace Kimberley, Kimberley just means only a tight group of corporation from South Africa called, namely De Beers. They're the one behind the Kimberley certificate. So they were playing at the same trick, like, okay, from now, they haven't come up with something like name that say, okay, this is a certificate that guarantee that this diamond, this coltan comes from a no-war zone. That there's no such thing as yet for the coltan, but I think that's where they're going to lead us to. But then if our struggle is just to, please few less people for few less people with profit and control and everything, I don't think this is what we're looking for. We're not looking at just a corporation that say, okay, the criminals deliver the certificate to themselves to say, oh, we're not going to buy or we're not going to sell. Whoever sells diamond or coltan or anything that come from a war zone is illegal. You have to have the Kimberley certificate that, legalize. I mean, the same people, they want to legalize their own crime. So, we have to push upwards. We have to do much more than the 90s, where people were excited about even the movie Blood Diamond. People came up and say, oh yeah, we want to push it beyond that.
So is there such a thing as safe minerals or conflict-free minerals that are coming out of the Congo now?
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as legal, because there's no, like, put it this way, there's no official government in the Congo. When I say official government, like people's government that will protect the people from even criminals, because from these are private militia. Because what the corporation have done, they keep even the president, like the so-called president of Congo, they keep him at bay. They say, listen, boy, don't move. You are entitled to this and that, and let us do our job. Let us militia, otherwise, because we know by now that whoever one call makes weapon, guns, and everything. So it takes just a phone call to say, I need more guns here, and there's more bloodshed. So the president, because of the lack of popular support, because the people don't identify with the ruling class. So therefore, the ruling class is just there to facilitate the lootings. They're doing the corporation work. They are corporation president. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. The army, the forces that supposedly they're supposed to protect the people. No, that there's no such thing there. What they do is just to make sure the quota of needed resources by corporation is there. I mean, that's the work they do. So that's one problem, because not only we have to fight for our rights in the country, we have to fight against and the corporation and the government, and we just have our word and our mouth, and we just have to expose them. That's what we've been doing for the past 15 years, just exposing them, because otherwise there's no, like, one of the best thing we've been doing is to get in touch with people like yourself worldwide, because the more room we have in terms of exposing these people, the better it is for us, because otherwise, there was 5,000 of us in front of the BBC, British Broadcast TV, 5,000 for over a month.
Wow.
Not even a single minute of coverage. Amazing. From the BBC.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. Like rape is a weapon of mass destruction, because what they've been doing to destroy community, because in our culture, the woman is the backbone of our society. And if you destroy our woman, that's a community dispersed, because, women holds all of us, the society together in our culture. So what they've been doing, they've been using rape as a weapon of mass destruction that they've been looking for. They use rape. They will send Viagra, all these things to private militia, and those private militia will come to villages with guns, but they will not even kill people with these guns. What they will do, they will just take women and rape women from the whole village. And if you do that, then the community, broken community dispersed and, in different direction. And that's, we've been going through this for over 15 years now.
Can you give us your take on the Western media coverage of what's happening in the Congo?
First of all, like in mid 90s, let's say 97, the Western coverage or narrative of the situation was, as usual, it's a tribal warfare. That's what they've been selling to people in the UK. They say, don't worry, just a tribal warfare between this tribe, don't like that tribe. You know how they go about tribe and stuff like that. And we happen to be there, in the room where the members of parliament, let's say like Congress, they had a meeting in a university trying to make some kind of presentation to the students. And he was telling students that, don't worry about this Congo. We've been trying our best, but this warlord, that warlord, the other warlord, don't like this warlord, tribal warfare. And that was a narrative in, late 90s. And we had to challenge the narrative. We made a presentation. We asked the student if we could have only 5 minutes to prove him wrong. And we just made a presentation to say, wherever the so-called tribal warfare takes place, below the soil, there's resources, there's coltan, gold, diamonds. So we say, what, is it tribal warfare between diamonds and gold, or is people? Because, whatever this warfare was taking place, it was, diamonds, gold, coltan, and everything. So, we asked the members of parliament, can you prove us otherwise? Because we know that the war taking place there is a resource war. It's a looting war. People are there to loot. And at the time, we didn't have, much information in terms of the private militia techniques, where corporation and government, they don't want to see no face. Just like now in Syria, where like Cameron, the prime minister of this country, said, we have 70,000 people on the ground. Yeah, that's to some extent, these are the extension of the army. Like whatever crime these 70,000 people commit in Syria, they have something to do with it. So we had to link, this, method of how they've been using the local faces, but under the check, they pay them to do the work. And, we expose it. And now the narrative had changed a little because not much of our community, because even our community was under the narrative of tribal warfare. But we destroy the narrative. There's no such thing as tribal warfare anywhere in Africa anyway. There's no tribal warfare. No, there's resources and, looting warfare that takes place where, Western government, through their own networking can use such warlord. Somalia is a very good example where, country was stable and they destroyed Somalia. Now we have a tribal warfare north, south, east, west, and then that's it. The whole place, the state is destroyed. And they've been trying to destroy Congo for some time now, because the reality is the Congo is a very vast and rich country, and there's more and more Chinese presence there in the Congo, and no one will ever allow Chinese to be, because the Chinese have the upper hand in terms of so-called investment in the Congo now. And Western government, they want to challenge China, but they know that they cannot go by dollars, because we know the economies of the West are in bad shape now. And what they've been doing is they're now we know U.S. bases all over the Congo now. We have U.S. bases all over the place now. Congo is surrounded by U.S. military bases, basically. So, that's an implication directly from the Obama administration. But the whole thing began with what we describe as the Arkansas Mafia, Bill Clinton and wife, and so forth. What we're going through today is a Bill Clinton legacy to the people of Congo.
Can you tell us a little bit about how U.S. policy in the Congo changed during the Clinton administration?
There was a president, there was a guy called Mobutu. He ran the country for 32 years because, according to the U.S., he maintained the balance between the communists and the capitalists. Kind of, he was the main guy, the U.S. guy in the 90s. But then when this Berlin Wall went down, the U.S. changed the policies, and the way they've changed policies, they didn't need the guy anymore. We don't need you anymore to do the equilibrium between East and West. So we don't need you, so you have to go. And then, but the guy, if just like in Iraq where they say Saddam Hussein has to go, but the thing is they destroyed the whole army. They destroyed the whole state, and then destroy the state. This is Bill Clinton, by the way, in power. They destroyed the state, and the next thing you know, in the capital of Congo, Kinshasa, we saw people that we never known before coming with guns and everything, and they say we're the new government. Like we literally, the whole country's hands up, don't shoot stuff. And these people came up and took over. They had the support of the U.S. for some times. And then when I think the question of splitting Congo between powers and everything, and some neighbors of Congo, because Congo has 9 borders, and they support these rebels, so-called rebels. The support they had was from Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. And Rwanda, Burundi, these are eastern neighbors of Congo. And these 3 country regime, these are like U.S. 20 years plan. They put them in place there for the next 20 years because they knew what was going on. So what they use these people, these regimes, not people in Uganda, but they use these armies just as proxy war because like the same army, like when you say Rwandan army, will use wherever the U.S. wanted them to go. They went to Iraq, the Rwandan army. I don't know, many people don't know about it, but the Rwandan army went to Iraq. They went to Somalia. They went to South Sudan and Congo. So they've been pushing U.S. proxy all over the place. And, man, this is what we've been going through this is a U.S. involvement back then.
And can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the United Nations regarding the Congo?
One of the key, under Kofi Annan, the UN secretary, like former secretary, one of the job he's done is he sent some experts to Eastern Congo, and they came out with a report called Mapping Report in 2004. I mean, that's a key document, if you want, because there's names there. I think there's names, there's corporation names, and what they were there, what they were doing, and the private militia. Everything is there. And even Barclays Bank. I don't know if there's a Barclays Bank in the US. In the UK, Barclays Bank is one of the big corporations. So there were names of people, putting money in the conflict. Even universities. We had universities in London. They had some of the capital invested in a conflict in the Congo. We have to bust one university up in Brighton. There's a Sussex University. We had to push them back because students from there, what we're doing, we mobilize students, and the student will sometimes take information from inside and send it to us. Oh, this is what we find out: 3% of the capital of the Sussex University has been invested in a conflict in the Congo. So we mobilize a student in any university, and we push the university. We say, take out your capital, don't invest in conflict. And they came out with a gesture. They say, okay, they didn't know. We didn't know about it. What we can do, we can transfer some technology with the University of Goma. That's Eastern Congo. But they wanted to do some technology transfers and everything. That's the way they recognize the crime. And from being active in universities, now every year we have, I think mid-September we have Congo Week in most universities in the UK, in Australia, because of the work we've been doing. So students and university give us space to come and expose the Congo situation in like in Paris, in Brussels, London. I don't know about the US, but here we have spaces where people from Congo come, because we push them so hard, but not hard enough anyway, because we're still dying. But this is the concession they've made is, okay, we didn't know, okay, what we can do. We'll open enough space for you to come and expose your situation to large audience, and this is where we are now.
So, what are some of the ways that these universities were investing money into this conflict?
They'll do anything. They'll sometimes say they're investing in um, technology but their technology they will invest will go and be sold to the warlords. So that's direct tie that ties the economy of the uni to that technology that goes and kill people there. So we still have to do some work just to elaborate what was the kind of machinery that was sent there, what kind of technology. But we definitely know that the university stepped back and said, "Oh, we backed down. We didn't know," and they stopped doing this. Officially, stopped doing it. They stopped investing in that kind of technology that will go and murder people anyway. So yeah, that's yeah, we that's where we are. Yeah, so that's where we are in terms of fighting with the little that we have. We try now. The big thing is that, what we have now is to push back apples and not the rest of the phones anyway. Why are we targeting apples? Because apples, everyone is like everyone knows apples. You know what I mean? But the Ericsson, or we people went all the way to Sweden to push back Ericsson. There's a guy. There's a movie called Blood on Your Cell Phone. I don't know if you ever watched that. Yeah, check that on YouTube. Blood on a Cell Phone, about the situation like that ties mobile phones and the conflict in the Congo. Very good program. So to get more information. So basically, the bottom line is where we are is this, like, the economy here require our blood. For the success of Apple's or Steve Jobs required millions of deaths in the Congo. The success of Leopold II, which was because this is the second genocide we're going through, and the success of Leopold II in the early 19th century required millions of us. A first genocide, over 10 million people killed, so people could get rubber, and rubber was the material used to industrialize car tires. So that's we've been doing this for quite a long time, and Congo is the size of India, and there's less than 70 million people now.
And I'm sorry that it cut out a little bit. Did you say less than 70 million?
Yeah, and the size of India. India has over 1 billion something. Yeah, so just where we are, and official organization like Red Cross, like this woman from Hollywood, Angelina Jolie. We had to challenge her because she was using our suffering to make her own case, to build her own positive profile about her being a philanthropist woman doing stuff for us. And she came. They had a big conference here. I think it was 2 years ago. They had a massive conference with over 10,000 people, with the foreign affairs minister of this country, secretary of foreign affairs, called William A. And they were so doing stuff. Oh, we have to stop the rape. We had to do something. But while she was just building her own profile, she was building we had to challenge her. We blocked the way she was coming. She made a speech. We said, listen, there's a better way to do stuff for us. You can't just go and, build your own profile about you being that, nice woman that do good stuff for children. We don't want that. Why don't you name the names? Like, the UN report is right there. Why don't you say, oh, I want to call on Apple to stop funding, because it's the funding. Funding is the issue. Even now, US in Syria talking about ISIS, it's the funding. If you don't fund, there's no war. If you don't fund ISIS, if you don't fund M23, by the way, is the name of the most non-private militia in Eastern Congo. Name is M23. Yes, it was signed, the agreement was signed on May the 23rd, so they call it M23. So if you don't fund M23, if the UK, we know for a fact, this is a fact here, it's all in the official document, the UK government gives some like £59 million to those militia through the Rwandan government. So if you stop the money, then we know that there will be no more war. And if these people, they really make silly of us. The U.S. government had to stop the aid to Rwandan government. You know how much it stopped?
How much?
Less than 500,000. And this is supposed to be a way to put pressure on the Rwandan government to stop pushing militias in Eastern Congo. So you you cut 500,000 to 57,000 men, and you know this is what they've been doing. Literally, Obama, he said, okay, we're gonna stop the aid because the Rwandan government did not listen. They're still going to cause mismain and everything in Congo. We're gonna stop the aid. You know, people, okay, let's see the aid. What the aid means? 500,000.
And what was the total of the aid given to Rwanda by the U.S. government at that time?
I don't have the exact figure, but I know it's in the 100 million or something.
So
Yeah,
it's tiny. It's a tiny fraction.
it's invisible. Yeah, I mean, no one felt it except except maybe one or two charities, because what they've been doing is they've been using like they'll take beautiful young white faces, send them there to Rwanda and do some kind of charity work to say. I mean, Rwanda is in the word of George Bush, is an example of success in Africa. Yeah, because they've been doing some good work for the U.S. in terms of proxy wars, proxy wars in South Sudan, as I said before, in Iraq, Somalia, Congo. You know, like private army from the U.S. So according to Bush, Rwanda is an example of democracy and success and everything. So this is a bigger struggle that require allies beyond the physical Congo and beyond the people of Congo, because we're up against a system. You understand? We're up against a whole system, a whole network of people that feed from our blood. So there's no way we can we can't stop it as just it's not my own struggle, because it's all connected. I mean, we can connect from being in the Congo now. We're able to connect the warlords in Eastern Congo that went to Iraq. Yeah, because I think Rwanda sent some like 20,000 with the what's the US?
Black water.
Yeah, that's it. He's right. He's there. On Google, the information is there. The black water. They use black faces from Rwanda and then train them, give them weapons, pay them, and so they've been. This is what they've been doing, and and there's no way we can isolate ourselves even more by just saying, okay, this is a struggle from Congo. But what we're trying to win people to say, no, my struggle is your struggle, actually, because if we allow for maybe 20 years, the next thing the next thing will be them, because the corporation are just getting used to feed up, themselves of people's blood. Like they maim, they create the chaos. It's not even, they don't mention, they may call it collateral damage, like in Syria, yeah. So it's, it's the world we're living into. And if we don't fight to change it, then this is the world we're gonna leave our children. They're gonna have one choice: maybe join the army, and not even national army or patriot army, but corporation armies, and go all over the world and do the job.
So, are there some links between global climate change and what's going on in the Congo?
I can tie the climate change and the environment with Congo, because the Congo has the largest reserve of pure water. Like within the next, we know there's a problem with water now. I mean, it's more and more official. People start to recognize clean water is going to be a problem. Congo is the largest, and is the water is in Eastern Congo, and there's a U.S. and British organization that just found this oil below the natural forecast. And now the struggle that we try, this is another front that we're going to open up. The Virunga Park, Virunga, Virunga Park, is where the reserve of animals and pure water and everything, and there's oil there. And now what the corporations are trying to do the same thing that they've done in Brazil. You see the struggle in Brazil, the climate stuff, and push people back so that they can exploit the oil there. But then to exploit oil, we know what's going to happen to the natural environment, to the animals. So we can tie that Virunga struggle that we have here in the UK with the climate change and everything. Yeah, there's definitely there's a direct link in everything they do, because what they're looking for is profit. So if profit dictate them to destroy the environment, like even to destroy communities, and then even digging coltans, you're destroying something there, because it takes maybe 1,000,000 years for these things to come back. Even diamond, I was reading somewhere, it takes over 1,000,000 years for this everything, the environment, to recover from that. So we can definitely tie with the environment, and we may not have said it like this is because we don't want to associate ourselves to those funny people who say they want to save the environment, but they don't mind see the killings in the Congo. Like, we have to be sure, we have to tip top. We don't want to associate ourselves to these people. They have resources to literally swallow your whole struggle and say, oh yeah, the plan is this, and then they can even claim money from their own government, because their own government have to play by certain rules, like, oh, we're investing money in this and that so we have to make sure we just don't go along with everyone who claim to fight from some kind of environment. But in the mind of us, when we look at Evo Morales, literally telling the world that the problem is the system is killing, the system of the few is killing the word of the many. This is what we stand for. And we have to learn a little more how to articulate and how to select our allies, so that the problem is the people are in power, are in charge of the environment now, because you and I, we can struggle to push them back, but they still have the states to push us back, to lock us. They still have to the army to lock the whole, like, to create a kind of green zone where they can go and meet and come up with a press release about where we're going to invest. We're going to invest 10 million in Africa for the sake of environment. But we know that German, 7 years ago, German company went to Ivory Coast to drop all the toxic, literally people died. They went to drop in Ivory Coast because as I said, African have no state. What we see there, these are no state. These are proxy of US, France, of the Western world. So sometimes they will force this president to accept some of these things because you're under us. So we're gonna come and drop some toxic there, and they kill, I think, something like 3,000 people, and no outcry, nothing. Even the president, they knew, everyone knew he came from Germany, but where's the outcry? No, because you go by the rules, and otherwise, if you don't go by the rules, you know what's going to happen? There's about 10 people waiting for your seat, and if you don't go by the rules, because a state, we haven't consolidated a state for ourselves that can stand up and say, oh no, this is not happening. No, we have people that are created in I have nothing against this institution, but most of our rulers come from Harvard, not Harvard, but the top university. But to us, these are laboratories that create a certain mindset that will just facilitate extraction and destruction of us. This is for the past 50 years, this is the best we come up with. We come with people that are well eloquent, well spoken, with connection all over the Western world, banks and everything, work for corporation, chosen. They have the families and everything. Everything they do is tied to, the success, so-called success of the Western world. And they're just there to, make sure that we go by the rule, we don't move, we don't stand up, because even like water is a problem to us, hospital is a problem to us, education is a problem. I mean, when I say education, is not even top university, it's just the minimum. We don't have that, because we have very repressive regime that are put in place so that you don't move. As soon as you even open your mouth, there's consequences. So this is where we are. So not only we have to fight cooperation and they impose the Western government to us, we have to fight them even the kind of army, I know there must be some kind of patriot in the mind or something like that, because even the army, very poorly entertained and maintained, and the struggle is all over. Whether it's the environment, whether it's the state power, even whether it's to recognize history that we as a people were attacked 500 years ago and destroyed. From there we lost the control of our lives. Yeah, the Western intervention in Africa 500 years ago took everything from us, our destiny. We're not in control of our life, of our resources, of our own reproduction is not guaranteed. The average life expectancy, like in the Congo, is 47 years. So you see, everything is just shambles. Everything is in mess. So now it becomes a duty for those of us who made it to this part of the world to start to learn exactly how does this being allowed. Because some of us we don't believe no human can do what we're going through to a human, like to the basic, to most of us. That's how we see it. We say, no, these people must be some other species, because what kind of human would destroy so much life just to reap a profit? This is where sometimes we talk to each other, like, okay, Steve Jobs is a good example of success, and how can you sit down and even contemplate about him being a successful guy? Because if you look at the garden, just look at the backyard, you see the damage that has been caused, and you as a human always have a choice. You can say, okay, enough now, this is what we're going to do. No, none of this happened. And we've been waiting for 500 years to get some kind of solidarity from the Western world people, not the government, because, being here, we learn to understand how even Western population are just people. They kept it under a set of ideas, which was, there was a kind of comfort for a while, but now no more. Like, even the comfort that they were given earlier is gone. Now they've been abandoned. You can see here in the UK the struggle between the poor whites and everything. They are struggling themselves. So you're like, okay. So now the learning what we've been going through, like, if it takes the people for profit, they'll do it, because the machine is there. It's rotten now. There's no reverse. So yeah, and that's where we are. So but struggle is the best thing. The only option we have is this, to give time and do what we're doing to stop these people from expose them. And the more we expose them, the more people we win, the more media exposure we have. They'll be forced somehow. Apple had to back down and say something about his profit, say something about, we're not going to invest in war stuff, conflict, and minerals anymore, because
And what would you tell people who believe in the development narrative and who believe that financial investment by corporations into these parts of the world ultimately leads to a higher standard of living?
I think it's development is just a cover up, because the reality is there's not. I mean, development is supposed to bring some kind of change and positive direction, and 500 years of development, and 500 for every dollars invested by the World Bank in Africa, $10 leaves Africa. For every dollar, every time they drop $1, they expect $10 to go. So I don't see how we can grow as a people with that kind of investment. I mean, if anything, we can't call that development. We can call it the politic of looting the people, because what they do, even as they do invest the dollar, they tell the government, local government, what to invest in, and they make sure don't invest in education, in health. They tell them exactly what to do with the dollars. Maintain the army, because you maintain the army, maintain the police, because you need those forces to keep people in place, in check. Don't invest in health, don't invest in education, don't invest in any public service. So if people who claim development is the way forward, so your dollar is being invested just to maintain us in this poor state that we've been for a very long time now. So development, people who believe development is the way forward, they should check where this money goes. And this money don't go to build schools, no hospitals, no education, no public services. This money goes, few of the dollars goes in the pockets of the ruling class. Some of them go to maintain the police and the army because they do need these forces to keep us in check. Otherwise, every natural human being and under this kind of suffering we've been going through, we do something about it. But they make sure we have a gun in the head, don't move if you move. And this is what we go through anyway. So is there. So the money, the core development, in the minds of the majority are just money to maintain us in a state of oppression and poverty.
And what can you tell us about why people should be more concerned about what's going on in Africa and how what happens in Africa affects the rest of us around the world?
Well, we believe to fight for Africa is to fight for the world. We say free Africa, free the world, because something close to 80% or more of the needed resources for the oppressive and repressive machines of the world is taken from Africa. So if you free Africa, you deprive these machineries of what is needed for them to oppress us, from New York to China to all over the world. You know, and this is a strong statement that we have here, like free Africa, free the world, because it takes Africa to work for free for those corporations and these governments to exploit and to oppress all of us. So question is, you may experience the oppression in different ways, but then oppression does not decrease. They will increase it. You know, with the world, we know now more and more civil liberties is being taken off the people and everything. So just look at where this taking, people's democratic right is going. Where's it going to go for? You end up being in North Africa. Wherever you are, you be Africa in a good or bad way. If you free Africa, then you experience Africa in a positive way wherever you are. But if you let this machinery, corporation and government and, these looters and these parasites doing to Africa what they've been doing, you give them what it takes to, whip your butt, you give them what it takes to keep you under oppression and to take more democratic rights, civil liberties from, people of the world. So actually, fighting for Africa, you literally accepting the fate of humanity. Yeah, you accept the fate that somehow, at some point in this life, we're all going to be under some kind of top surveillance. We're going to be on some kind of accepting that there's nothing we can do about ourselves, whatever we are. You accept that the few have the right to live luxuries, where the many have to struggle, where the so-called 1%, in the US, there was a campaign called 1%. Like, you accept the fate of the world in the hands of the 1%. It's all in your hands. Whatever you are, there's no excuse. Whatever you are, you have to engage power. And even if you're fighting local, wherever you are, just think about the change globally. Because, we say act local, think global. Because there's one humanity and there's not two. And we know that the system is in place as proven record of destroying humanity. We know it. Extermination of the indigenous people in America, Australia, taking Africa by force, bring them to wherever they could to work for free, create wealth for them, to create the whole system. So, this is where we are. So we need to do something from where we are. But then we're not in isolation with internet anymore. And I think one of the biggest mistakes these people have made, the people in power, is to give us that free access to each other. Because that free access to each other, we can share our experience and we can accelerate our own development, in terms of seeing the world. Because what the ruling class been doing for the past 100 years, they were the only one with global information. They knew what was going on in East, West, North, South. But now you and I can literally talk in a second and I will learn about what's going on where you are and you can learn. So people are much more together now. And I think we have the much needed tool to to be a better place and to make this world a better place, another humanity is possible. So basically, another world is possible. But then the only way to have the other world is to build it. We can't just sit down and hope for it. We have to engage power. We have to, do wherever we are. We have to organize a minimum of demands to power. So we learn that power doesn't consider anything except the demand. So we have to do stuff. Uhuru.
So, what are some of the most helpful materials online that people can find to educate themselves more?
Yeah. So as a form of document, as I say, the UN mapping report is a very good document. Blood is blood in a diamond, blood in a cell phone. It's another video that people can watch and learn. Like it may have some Western, much more oriented explanation, but the economics dictates like rape here, dispersed villages here mean more profit for corporation. I know this is these are the two documents there, but there's more. If you just go Coltan Congo, you can see thousands of documents, whether from um, like activists from the US that just one day say, "Oh, I'm going to search for this." We have campaign where people switch off their own phone for a day and left a message, "Oh, I'm doing this to boycott the cell phone because people are dying in the Congo."
The cell phones that we have, in order for those cell phones to be produced, you need a mineral called coltan. They would kidnap children to mine the coltan in the Congo. 5.4 million children have been murdered in the Congo. 5.4 million people, have been murdered in the Congo. Almost 50% of them children. So this is what we are asking. Turn off your cell phone. Turn it off and put on your voicemail why you have turned it off. Why you have turned it off, to educate people about coltan.
Like there's all sort of campaign, but the next big boom is for the world to recognize the genocide in Congo and for the corporation to pay reparation to the victims that we are. Because that's the real justice. Justice don't mean for you to go and elaborate a certificate and say, "Oh, Kimberly and this X certificate, we legalize it." No, the only legality, the only legal thing is to pay reparation to the victim. And that's the only justice we can, we can accept. Oh, justice has been done. But if there's no reparation, that means the community is being destroyed. That means we have no ability to rebuild our lives. We have no ability even, because can you imagine in like in the US when these two brothers came up with guns shooting people, just for 2 hours or 3 hours, the whole people had to go to see psychiatrists, psychologists, and all these things. So can you imagine being under this for 20 years? 20 years of, so the damage is, that's what we are anyway. But the struggle continues, and, I'm happy, now, I have you over there, and you have two people there, because what we say is if each of us mobilize two of us, in the end, the whole world will know about the truth. Truth is, these people there in the White House or in Downing Street live off the bloods of the many to satisfy, not even a country, to satisfy very few people that owns corporation. And through, even learning the 1%, was it 1%, 2%? The 1% struggle of people like Westerners stood up to say, "Are we the majority?" But there's even bigger majority behind the majority that we've been suffering. The only thing is we we didn't have a voice. But from that 1% to that tiny majority who say they were the majority, there's bigger majority that that all the pyramid together. So that's yeah. I mean, anytime we open to any discussion, anything that will win more room for us to expose these barbarian and these people who have to be out of humanity as soon as possible, because the question is, if they still run in power, you and I will be in serious trouble. You and I, his life will be in trouble. Our children will be in trouble, and everything. We cannot allow or tolerate to leave this world as it is now, where people can sit in their office and say, we're going to bomb these people. Literally, making some kind of statement, however good it sounds, but then you're going to bomb people and call it collateral damage. I mean, this is where we are. Yeah, we're gonna vote. Being people vote and say, okay, we go like Britain 2 days ago. They were there making statements, and then the next thing the yes have done 392 votes. The no have done 212. We are going to war. And 2 hours after, little babies were dying in Syria, and no, no.
So do you think that it's possible for us to improve our standard of living in other parts of the world without improving the standard of living in Africa?
It won't work. Like one last example is the steel industry in the UK. Steel industry, they were about to close, close down the whole thing here. And where are they taking it to? They're taking it where they have cheap labor. But when they say cheap labor, they don't tell you that these people are under oppression. They don't have a voice. You can't say shit. Just do what you're told. You understand? Like, if they take an industry like a steel industry, they take it to Africa, is because Africa is under oppression. And then these the repressive regime tell the people, listen, you're going to work for $1 a day. And if you ever speak, or if you ever say anything about less than or more than $1 a day, you'll be in trouble. So these people are free to close down industries here in the UK, take it somewhere. Like, I know they were planning to take it to Morocco. If they close down, that means unemployment soars here in the UK. Take it to Morocco for cheap labor, and this is another way to view it. This is another way to see that realities. As we are under oppression, we can work for, even if we work for free, we surely can work for $1. Yeah, I mean, $1 a day. Wow, that's $1 a day. Luxury. But it's because oppression is there. Like, whatever this cheap labor in the world is because the government are repressive government. And these repressive government, you don't say anything, just go by the rules, work, and they'll be invited in the White House to say, this is our friend, because it keeps these people under oppression to work for $1, so that that shut down the industry here can make more money. So you will be unemployed. The economy of Detroit will collapse because they will take this, and it's all connected, and there's no way you can run. That's the reality. Now you're gonna go and take a full time because the job you're doing, you're being paid a human salary. They call it, like in the UK, they say like livable salary where you can live. But then these people will close down and keep the whole customer base, because people will still consume. I mean, that's where we are. That's if we don't mobilize. If I lose my job, and I don't mobilize the customer, say, listen, I've lost my job because these people go somewhere where there's oppression and invest. I mean, not even invest. Take whatever job we're doing here, industry, take it there to make more money, but you're still buying. If you stop from buying, they'll be forced to do something about it. Not only you help me, you help the whole society. We have to connect. You understand? And if we just go by, I'm just isolated person here in London, there's nothing I can. No, you surely can do something, because the corporation exists, because we accept them to be above us, and we don't make any critics of anything. We just go by, we're closing down this, it's gone, okay. And then we don't, and then by the time you realize, we've lost everything we had, where's the civil liberty? We can't even talk. There's freedom of speech is gone. Now you know, because you didn't. If you have to push them all the time. I mean, that's one thing we learn with is like apples. We push it, and he's forced to say something, and then we have to push him even further. Even as we push them here, I think 2003, there was a militia, the M23 militia. They invaded the whole eastern part of Congo, the whole part of eastern Congo, and then people lost hope. you know, on the ground, people like, what can we do? They have guns and everything. We, from being here, we went to Downing Street. We told, at the time it was Tony Blair, the Prime Minister. We told Tony Blair, we know what you've been doing, but there's no, tell your people, call them, give them a phone call, your private militia, tell them to get off there because our people deserve freedom. It took less than 48 hours. Oh yeah, that's why these militias are all the time in communication with the people here. They gave them a call. I think it was Tony Blair and Colin Powell. A call, yeah, literally just a call. Listen, we're in trouble here. You know, do leave the place alone. 48 hours, there was no rebel. So that's how we see how much these people are involved in Congo or in Africa. These so-called rebels supposed to be crazy with guns. Just a phone call, they will leave the whole place. See, this is where we are. Ridiculous, but this is where we are. These people in charge, they know how to stop the killing. They know. And they know how to train the killers too. That's the thing. They can stop them because they created them. They've trained them, you know. And so we definitely know that this is a world global struggle we have to go through. They may try to scare us by using the war against terror, because I believe when they say terror, there's us there. I really believe it, yeah. When they say the war on terror, they know these people that they've trained and funded anyway. These trained and funded people by them, they're just a silly minority people. There's no way these people that can affect whatever change these people have in mind, they will never affect it by blowing themselves and killing people in Paris, in the streets of here, there. No, you're losing popular support. That's not the way you do it. There's a way to do it. And even their own people here, like it's a whole split community, like the Muslims in the UK, I guess in the US, there's a split. Like some of them do agree, but in silent, in the heart, they sympathize with because people, we hate oppression. So people trying to sympathize with, you know, while we've been going through mad, because actually I saw people from Congo say, oh, only 120 people died in Paris, look at the outcry. How about the over 8 million people in Congo and everything? I mean, this is the kind of, you know, people sympathize, maybe not with the tactic, but with the people's struggle. You know, we know that the people in the Middle East, they have their own struggles. You know, they must have some kind of oppression that they want to get rid of, but they're in the wrong hands and leadership that tells them the way forward, get yourself there and blow yourself. And, you know, I'm not arguing about the struggle. I'm arguing about the tactics, you know, because tactically, to do that, you lose support of the people that may have been able to do stuff for you. You know, people that may have mobilized people for you around some stuff and everything, because the reality is, if we have to win a bigger amount of people in you know, human society, we have to make sure that we don't do things that will push them to the number one killer for security, because that's exactly what happened in Paris. Through doing the Bataclan killing, now the French are split. The extreme right of the French politics, they're like, oh, you see, we told you the problem was these Arabs, and you know, this is what they are. And so that's a very bad situation, because the largest Muslim community in Europe is in France. And you don't want to create that kind of tension with the native French, like, or you say, oh, the Arabs, the Muslims are the problem. So this is, it sounds like a civil war right there, you understand? Yeah, because if these tiny minority come with a gun and kill people, and then the media goes like, oh, it's those Arabs and Muslims. That means you give this minority a base of 5 million people. And 5 million people can definitely do some damage. Understand? Like, it don't work like that. You don't do it that much easily. You don't do that. You don't say, oh, you have to make sure you isolate the killers or the criminals, and trying to make sure you isolate them and trying to get explanation from the base there, the community. But if you say, oh, these Muslims, Arab, like the French extreme right, they've been saying, oh, we've been saying that the problem is Islam. like one of the leading force of the French extreme right. She was in the European Parliament. She said, "Why are you shy to say that the problem is Islam fundamental? But as soon as you say Islam, you associate these 5 million people with them." And these 5 million people, they're not going to come to the French state to seek for safety, because they know the French state is looking for people that looks like them. So that's a 5 million base to those few. And if those few keep doing that, at some point, you see those 5 million people, you see the extreme right French fighting, and that's civil war. And, you know, I don't know who's doing this, but whoever is planning this is using the... I hope it won't happen, but the way the media is pushing it, I don't know how they can avoid a civil war in France. I don't know. As they keep giving 5 million people to that organization, oh, it's because of this, and now it's not even just in France. Now it's going across the border in Belgium. This, oh, this town is full of Arabs and everything, and the extreme right in Belgium, they're even crazy, crazier than the French one. Yeah. Yeah, so they will be the first to take guns, to pick guns to kill those Muslim innocent, just because someone over down the line who, to me, must be someone rich, owns corporation, and wants something in France, or something there. He wants to make sure. I mean, to me, this war on terror will save the rich ruling class, because people will look for that invisible enemy that doesn't exist, and then they were left off the hook. They'll be right there, the banksters and the gangsters of the money, bank corporation, army corporation, and sitting, and we've been killing each other. We've been, the Arabs, we're the black, we're the... we've been doing the job for them, and then, this is where we're heading to. And why is the media pushing such agenda? Why is the media who give 5 million people to a tiny minority? Why is the French left, French extreme right, suddenly they become popular? In France, they're very popular. They want more seats. And why in the UK we have this extreme right movement called UKIP? There was election here. Now they have more voice. Who the hell is behind this whole trick, making... I don't know in the US, but I can smell some Donald Trump's coming out with some statements. But, I know it's only election time. Maybe this guy is trying to use, again, Islam to rally people around him, so that, so we, looking at the world, we can definitely see someone behind the closing, the door, trying to make sure something takes place that will be very ugly, but this ugly thing will reap profit. Connection. Right here, you have... How do you consider Donald Trump? Is he right, extreme right? Is he middle, center? So extreme is all over the place. And extreme in France. We know 2017 there'll be election, presidential election in France. I know the extreme, there's a bigger chance, because as what happened in France a few weeks ago, reinforce this, the position in it, close down the borders, because they've been asking for the French state to shut down the borders with the rest of the European countries, and they've been asking the French government to leave the euro, euro currency, to use to go back to the franc, and even much more extreme. This he was a former president of one of the extreme right. He said the new kind of a policy that will take the right, like whoever born in France supposed to be French. That's the law now, but they want to take the right, like the land, like you don't have the rights anymore. You're born in France. You're born in France. It's up to them to assess whether you integrate enough to have that French right or citizenship. Like this is what they're pushing to now. Like, born in, they have to, how much were your parents integrated and everything? Because, they said those born here have betrayed the French country, and, crazy stuff. Yeah. Because the economics of the, let's say I'm speaking from European, like European economics is what keeps this whole thing together, Europe together. Like the economy was flourishing, from colonies, people working for free, taking money here. It reinforced the European identity to go there, see different people, different color, different culture, oppress them, take whatever they have, bring them back into Europe, create the whole economy for Europe. And once you've created that European economy, that reinforced the European identity, that reinforced the European culture, like religion, Christianity, the whole brings these whole things together. But now with the economy crumbling, even you can see like in Spain, the Catalan and the Basque, they want two states, and you can see it in the UK, United Kingdom, the Scottish, the English want two states because the economy is doing bad, and because the economy was all this whole thing together. With the economy going down, the one of the like the way it manifests itself is like Scottish say, oh no, we've been good. There's some like 5 million Scottish. We have our gas and oil reserves somewhere there, and it's good for us as Scottish to manage it and take it. We don't want to share with England. And there was a referendum last year, in referendum in Scotland, to yes or no, you want to remain in the United Kingdom. I think the yes, the remaining in the United Kingdom won by just about 2-3%. Yeah, and that and people argue that there was some illegal stuff, rigging votes and stuff like that. And then just about last May, there was election. The Scottish Nationalists won 53 seats among 57. So that's an overwhelming majority in Scotland. Like the Nationalists, they've won in their own parliament there. They won 53 out of 57. So that's a statement of, where this whole thing is going to. And the worse the economy does, we know that there will be over identity. I never knew there was, even in England, there was the Southern and the Northern, they had different kind of approach. The South, in Germany, the Munich, where's Munich? Bavarian, one to cease from the whole Germany. Like as the economy crumbles, yeah, you see more. And even in the U.S., Texas, I was reading stuff about Texas. willing to go apart. So this is what we're going to, and we know that it's not the solution. This is claimed to make another state. To make another, because Texas would be a white state, pure sample, and it's not going to solve anything, because now you have mighty China with 1 billion people, you have mighty India, and this is not the way forward anyway. Either the whole join humanity, we fight the ruling class as humanity against them, by trying to escape by creating this new white states and everything. Is not going to solve anything in the end. They're just making a mockery of themselves. The reality, like white people have to join the rest of us as human beings, as all human beings, human family, and look at the tiny minority people that have been running the world for a long time now. Say, listen, you give back or we take back, and that's the only way. But you're not gonna try and ignore the killings of 8 million people in Congo. There, you say that's not me. You're not gonna ignore the killings of Palestinians. There, you say, these are Palestinian people, nothing to do with me. You're not gonna ignore Syria. You're not gonna ignore 1 million people in Iraq and say, I'm dealing with the U.S. because what the U.S. machinery, the U.S. state has been doing, because the economy is doing so bad. They have the new policy, and that policy is called war. And the only industry I can vision within the next 10 years in the U.S. is military. I don't see any other industry coming to the U.S. and doing good. The only good stuff the U.S. have been doing is being recruiting. These poor people who don't understand much about how the world is evolving. They will, join the army and send them to die, because that's the reality. Like 20 years ago, you don't dare to raise your guns on a U.S. soldier. People literally say, kill me, I'm not going to. America soldier, you understand? Through the propaganda, Hollywood movie, people's mind were there. People, oh, America, people like, hands up, you know? And now go to you go to Lebanon as a U.S. soldier, or Iraq, or Syria. You just, boots on the ground. You see a different result because it's a new mentality, it's a new world. People have lost respect in reality for the U.S. government, who for some time played the role of the good guys and everything. The good guy is gone. You understand? The good guy. People know that these people are not about justice. These people are about looting and destroying. And Iraq, you have Syria, you have Afghanistan, you have Congo, we can name all the places where U.S. involvement, total chaos and destruction. So, my call to white people is join the rest of humanity and let's get together and fight this few.
So 8 million people dead is an absolutely astounding statistic, and that number just seems to be getting bigger.
Bigger, bigger and bigger, and it's just getting bigger every day, and it's bigger. And those who say they fight for, I mean, that's a challenge to the feminists. Suppose they're fighting for the right of women. Well, there's over 1,200 women raped every hour in the Congo. So you will make the maths, over 5 million women being raped for the past 10 years, I think. So where the feminists are, where all the philanthropists, where are they? We want to see them. We want to challenge them with that. Where are those who fight for climate change and where all these well-known organizations that fight for climate change? Where the Virunga Park is right there, being almost going to be destroyed to exploit oil. Where are these people? Where are these good people? So we can elaborate some kind of plan and say, from where you are, this is how you can push them. From where we are, this is what we're pushing them. And if we become global, we can easily stop these people. But if if these people come with the intention of using people's suffering as a capital to create themselves, to make themselves well, then that's what we've been anyway. Like most of the official European charities supposedly going to do good to the children. No, going to live good under the sun and then have slaves and remember, because this is 500 years before they used to go and civilize us. And now they're going to democratize us, to give us democracy. So not much change between you coming to bring you so-called light of civilization and now you're coming to bring democracy. But the thing is, whether it's your civilization or your democracy, it's killing us. It's taking everything. It's taking life from us. So question is not even there anymore about your intention when it comes to do good by us. Like, where's the question? From history don't lie. We have 500 years of record of you coming to civilize us, and the civilization we lost over what? Over 800 million people. Middle Passage from Africa to the Americas. We lost most of our family members there. So that's civilization. And then 500 years later, you say, "Oh, I'll come and democratize your societies." And your democracy means dropping bombs in Iraq, dropping bombs in Syria, dropping bombs. That's a noble form of civilization. So, it's about time, people use a bit of the intelligence, because we have some kind of intelligence too. It's about time, what kind of civilization or democracy are you taking to a people by destroying them? Who's going to live that good democracy then? If democracy is so good, who's going to live it? Because, that's where we are.
So where do you see this all going in the future? It's definitely hard to predict the future.
It's hard, but it's also easier if we work to it. If we work to make that change, we have the faith will grow. But if we just expect that change to happen, as suddenly, no, it's not happening. We have to work to that change, and that change will come. And I'm positive. When I look at the world, the first change I see in the people is we have to tear down the borders between humanity. And saying like, because that's one of the success they've done. They have put borders between you and I. So, you and I, we don't communicate. The border make them survive. The longer we keep the borders among humanity, the longer these people will leave of us. So if the border goes down, now we know that we definitely can challenge them as humanity against one parasitic system that was born and maintained itself at the expense of the majority and the non-white population of the world. That's one set of how the world expresses itself. But now the thing is, in modern days, they even gonna start eating their own children. The thing is positive. We have internet. We have to expose them, and we know every day the change in the people is right there. We have people from Iraq to anywhere in the world that are ready to challenge the U.S. hegemony of the world. They say, no, you're very bad. Now people know that we come from a long way. Remember, it was hard to convince people that the source of the thing is the ruling class right there in the White House, with the invisible faces that we don't know and we don't even know, we never heard about. These people there, they make plans for 50 years, 20 years, and we have to go through the plan, meaning we have to die for them to have a future. Yeah, the Clintons family, they made big money off Congo. The Clinton, Hillary Clinton and her husband, Bill, they made big money in the Congo. They projected themselves for the next 20 years. If we have this guy in power, this is what we're going to get. So now, with the genocide, this is how we view anyway, Hillary Clinton, she's trying to come back to power. But we know for a fact that Hillary Clinton in power is going to be much more damaging to us. Oh yeah, because from the Arkansas mafia, they belong to that mafia from Arkansas. So when they come back, they have the network that takes place. They will revive all the militias. They will revive because now we push them back. They kind of waiting for the new power because Obama had to do Obama have his own interest and it's not the Clinton's interest. Obama priority it is not even us. It's not even maintaining the militia, or they just were afraid that they don't have the same cover up under the Clintons. Under Obama they don't have the same cover up, or where they can do crime, and then Obama has no time to cover these people. Whatever they do, Obama is not. I'm not too much their guy. If you do it. Make sure you do it. Do it in a way that the word on Obama is there. But for the Clinton, they openly will go to Congo, rape, kill, and capture videos and put it on media, and the world, to the world to see, and the Clinton will be there to cover any move like Clinton. Like any bad act when open in the Congo, the next week you see Clinton right there in Rwanda trying to tell his friend, don't worry, we got your back, and stuff like that. Because but now if the Clinton go back to power, I know if we hope in any good administration in the US that will change things in the Congo, I think we've lost our hope. We don't consider that as a possibility. We don't see any Sanders? No. Clinton, she may not be the worst, but we've experimented Clinton. We know how the Clinton treat us. Yeah. But then the Sanders, what's the other guy called? The Trumps, we know even crazier. So we've lost our hope in terms of politics. Coming into power, say, oh, this is no, we lost that. And I think the whole humanity have lost faith in the, politician doing good by us. We have, but the thing is this, we have to work to create that new dynamic, the new world, the new perspective for the world to have much control and take the world to a next level, rather than getting excited every year. I see that you were, excited and everything about who's the next president. We lost our hope. We're not into that anymore. We prefer to go people to people, you, me, people, and solidify our own self through people than praying for the ruling class that anything they say, they lie anyway. We know that. Where's the weapon of mass destruction in Iraq? You know, that's we lost that. But we have faith that engaging the people in the world will change the world, because the people will get involved, will challenge power, will demand, will push power and everything. This is how we're going to change it from, you know, where you are, from where I am from. Because there's no, if we accept the fate that is kept for us by the ruling class, we know that fate is what? Is whether you, either you join the army and you're going to die, or you just stay there, don't do anything, and then just suffer and then catch a heart attack or anything and die. I don't see anything else from them anyway. They may say good stuff about more jobs. How are you going to bring more jobs if you need more profit for the corporation? Because more jobs mean, you know, shutting down industry, bring them to where cheap labor is there. So how are you going to lie to the people? More jobs, more investment. How are you going to bring more investment? There's no more investment. I mean, reality is this system is over. But, you know, there's a saying in Africa where, like, a snake, even a dead snake, people are scared of a dead snake. Like, even you, if you look back in your room there, you see a dead snake, you more likely run away from that. Yeah. So the system is a dead snake. We still respect the system because we've been under some kind of trauma for a very long time from the system. But reality is, as you run from the dead snake, as further you get, you still look and wonder if that snake is really alive. And this is what we're going through. Like, at some point, we'll look at the system. Is it really working? Because it's not. But it may take you 2 minutes. It may take me 5. But in the end, we all know that it's a dead snake.
So what do you think the outcome is when people realize the brands they've been supporting for years are involved in these kinds of atrocities?
People will be surprised to know that, you know, backyard, this guy is involved, that guy. Oh my days. I mean, yeah, the information we really compile, you know, good information in terms of who's doing what and everything. And if we succeeded at explaining the war in the Congo, then people will understand every single war that exists in this world. If we understand war in the Congo, like the looting, the private militia, the depopulation, creating chaos, destroying environment, like everyone inside to that. Once you understand, like, you know, the war, the essence of war in the Congo, for you, there's no even surprise. Syria didn't surprise us, or Iraq, or, you know, no, because, you know, order of the day is what? The order of the day is the U.S. Foreign policy of the day is war. And then when they take war to you, they want to make sure they destroy the little organization that you have, meaning the state, whatever state existed, the US have to destroy that state. And when they destroy the state, they create a culture of warlords. Meaning, well, it's easier for the US to deal with warlords than to deal with so-called, you know, representative like government and stuff like that. So if they have a warlord in South Syria, warlord in North Syria, warlord, so they can easily get whatever they want from warlord from North, because if warlord from North don't give quickly, they will go to the warlord from South, give more weapon and push you more and get more from, you understand? Like, this is the policy of the, you know, the foreign policy of the US now. It's not even about when they say, oh, the Taliban, this, no. It's about, for them, is they use this Taliban as warlord, Assad as warlord. Like, there's no central government, there's no central leadership, there's no accountability, and this is why they move. This is the modern day warlord. And, you know, I wish we had studied Somalia 20 years ago or more, because that's exactly what went on in Somalia. Now Somalia, you have warlords all over the place. And now even Congo, they've been trying to destroy Congo to create the same chaos, warlords. But the only thing that was on the way from destroying Congo, is the people of Congo in the diaspora all over the world will mobilize and we push them back. No weapon. We just expose them and push them, and they could not break Congo in 2 pieces to give you, this is for England, this is for China, because that's what they do anyway. Berlin Conference, modern days, what they do is they say, okay, because China won this, England was this. US from okay, let's split it. Yeah, let's balkanize it. Let's make it. This is yours. This is mine. So everyone is happy. And use some warlord locally. Give them some whiskey. Give them some Viagra. Literally, this is what they do. They take those warlords, give them whiskey, give them Viagra, give them best cell phone, best car, best taste for him, and a few tiny minority to maintain control. This guy deals with Melilla, and this is the order of the day. By the way, in all of Africa, that's the threat in Africa now. They may, some people, like some countries in Africa may not know it, but the threat in Africa now is warlord. And the warlord now comes in form of, in the form of bearded people that are called Islamists. There's nothing to do with Islam, because now all over Africa, you have in Central Africa Republic, this is a neighbor from Congo. In Central Africa, you have the Balaka, like so-called Islamic militia. No, it's a French militia that is there to make sure that the government of Central Africa don't make deals with China. So they make sure they keep you at war. They keep you at bed. Listen, there's a threat here. So you focus on the threat, and you're not going to deliver anything to the people. So you have Islamists from Mali. In Nigeria, you have Islamists. In Niger, you have Islamists. In Cameroon, you have Islamists. In Central Africa, you have Islamists. I don't know how many. In Chad, you have this whole new Western way of intervening in Africa, creating slave catchers. Like 500 years ago, you call this Islamists slave catchers. Like they will use black faces to catch black slave to give it to them, and they will give them some money. And modern day time, the so-called Islamists, like those militia that move from Niger to Cameroon to Nigeria, these are the slave catchers modern days. They will create chaos for the Western government to get something from the government there. And as we resist, the more we resist the kind of things, tactics we're using now, the more they'll come up to the conclusion, okay, let's make the whole place chaotic. Let's just bring more warlords, and let's give them more weaponry, because like in Cameroon, we've seen like the government in Cameroon arrested French military literally going to train militias in Cameroon. They're going to train Islamists. Yeah, so not much have changed in that sense that like the black faces slave catchers. Yeah, because they create some local slave catchers 500 years ago to catch us and bring us to wherever we were supposed to be taken to the Americas. And now they use those private militia. They call them Islamists just to make it sound as if some religious stuff. But in reality, these are just modern day slave catchers, and they use them and say, oh, go and maim there, kill, destroy the place there, so I can use you as a leverage, to push more pressure on the government to get this market from China. And this is a tactic they've been using from all over Africa now. We know from Iraq, they will use these people and blow themselves there to force the Al-Maliki government to do some stuff in Iraq. We know they will use in Syria now, people will blow themselves in the middle of people in town center so they can force this government to give some. So it's only a tactic, this is a tactic, and, people think it's something like this happened. This is not permanent thing. This is a tactical decision that was decided maybe in the Pentagon. They say, okay, this is what we're going to use. Military right there, and it's this is where we are.
So in the mainstream media, we usually don't hear anything about the reasons behind these kinds of situations.
Yeah, which gives what we do another character, meaning in the absence of other opinion, these people will monopolize, the narrative and say, oh, this is if we don't do what we're doing, then people will be, oh, yeah, there's only one way anyway. It's tribal warfare. Oh, they just hate each other. They have to, some religious come up and say, oh, we just have to pray and love each other. Like some people people will bring some theological explanation to to our struggle, but there's none of this. Oh, this Christian Muslim fighting. No, there's no such thing. There's looting, war, and this imperialist war where they have to do whatever it takes to keep us in check and in control, so they can get free labor, they can get free resources, they can. So that's the only thing. Anyway, I don't see like when you see Britain, France, the US all going to bomb Syria, or because they're going to protect people from Britain by bombing people in Syria. I don't see the logic right there. I don't see how logical this thing would do. Like, you bomb people in Syria. Yeah, you bombing the people in Syria. You say you claim to protect people in Paris and in London. I don't understand how you're protecting these people. I think more bombing you drop there, more determined those people there will, be like, we have to do some damage here. I mean, that's me anyway. I'm not. I'm lost somewhere there. I don't get that logic. But fact is, we're not going back to the Jenny's bottles. No, humanity deserves better than that, and we're not going back there. There's no way these people can win. There's no way these people can bomb us to that kind of submission that they're expecting. There's no way. It won't work. It's a different scenario. They have to give up. If I was among the ruling class, I'd say, listen, give up some of the things that you have. Because, listen, not only they have Africa now, Africa is not even awake in the sense that, like South America. We're not even there yet. But, we're still causing problems now in the sense that even their own control, like in the 80s, it takes a phone call from a US administration to a president in Africa, say, listen, you have to resign. We don't want you anymore, go. And now, it takes military action. If you call if a US or Western administration call an African president that we don't want you, go, say, listen, the hell with you, come and take me out. They will say, oh, come. This is the kind of new world that we're living into. And then what this guy will do, he will get closer to China and say, give me some of the best technology you have, get closer to Russia, and then trying to defend themselves. But this is not for the people, just the leadership. And from a phone call to hell with you, come, this is a change. And from there, we have our people in South America, full-blown socially awakened, because that's how what they are up, so like Bolivia, we see Venezuela, we see all these things, and we learn. That gave us the hope that is much needed every day to say, oh, it takes a struggle for you to get, where they are, and the thing is, if we don't fight, if we don't stand up, in the short period of time, then it will be a disservice to our people in South America. Yeah, because if they win in they win us into another kind of submission. Don't move. If we don't move, they will put all the war machine in South America. Yeah, and then they will create all kinds of things that they've done in the past to make sure that the place is bombed like 50 years backward and stuff like that. So that's exactly, again, where humanity to connect. We have to keep them busy fighting all of us at the same time. Some of us have to pull the bait. We have to make him busy moving, and that's how we get the elephant down. But if we just say, oh, we just cross our hands and say, oh, let's see what's going to happen to our people in South America, that's a disservice. We have to say, hey, I'm here. Drag them there, push them there, fight here, and then another front there, another front. Like Che Guevara used to say, we need 1, 2, 3 Vietnam. So now we need 1, 2, 3, 4 Venezuela, Bolivia. We need to have this kind of struggle all over the place, and this is how we're going to give ourselves a chance to, to win, to have victory. And the connection is there. The connection. Before Chavez died, he wrote a letter to Africa. That's because he understood. He understood what it takes. I don't know if you ever read the letters from dying in a hospital. Chavez is writing to African. We will expect you. We united. We have the same fate. We have to unify our people. We have to struggle. That was some of it. It's right there on Google. Chavez's last letter to the African people. Yeah. So because he understood that, keep him busy there, just like Castro in the 50s. He said, okay, we're not going to fight them just in Cuba. Let's go and fight them in Angola. He sent a whole contingent in Angola to, fight from Angola there, because we're fighting a world system. We're not fighting a local or just a national threat. No, we're fighting a whole, parasitic system right there. And it takes a whole world system too to defeat another world system. It's not going to take a local, local kind of activism. No, it may, even if the local activism is planned and thought in a global way, then it affects, bigger space. So anyway, we have to work for globally, no borders. And that's why they have borders, they have passports. Don't let this Asian, don't let this Syrian. So, it would take a world system to destroy the world system that's in place. And I almost forgot to mention that I'm working with the Uhuru Movement. I'm a member of the Uhuru Movement, which is based also in the U.S. Our headquarters is in Florida. Yeah, so I'm, like Uhuru Movement is led by Chairman Omari Yashitela. I don't know if you ever heard about Chairman Omari Yashitela.
Briefly, but maybe you can explain.
Yeah, but Chairman Omari Yashitela brought a new kind of vision for African people, and because one of the things he understood is for us to reach humanity, we have to take the borders even in African people first. Because the way these people have dispersed us is very damaging to our struggle as a people. If they take they take mine, but they take me from Congo, and they go 5,000 miles away. The kind of mindset they put in me, I'm not Congo anymore. I become Eskimo, that's the logic they have anyway. And through the Berlin Conference, what they've done is whatever resources they will take from your place, there's a place called Cameroon in Africa. Cameroon, I'm sure you heard about Cameroon. And Cameroon is basically where the Portuguese used to find shrimps. So they say literally when they came to the place, they find shrimps there. They call the place shrimps. For them, they're looking for resources. They're not looking for you. They're looking for resources. So they named that place shrimps. And now we have a bunch of African. They call themselves Cameroon. You understand? Like from Portuguese, shrimps. Yeah, that's yeah. And from there, they go to Ivory Coast. They find the elephant tusk. And they call elephant tusk, where they used to find elephant tusk, Ivorian. So you see a bunch of that call themselves Ivorian from Ivory Coast. So it's just about the resources. And they go to the next door, Gold Coast, Ghana. Now it's called Ghana. Ghana used to be Gold Coast. And because there was a lot of gold there, they call the place Gold Coast. So golden, before Ghana used to be called Gold Coast. So wherever they find resources, they just name the place, because for them, the mapping is about where they find resources. So they call Cameroonian, gold, whatever resources they found there. Even Argentina, Argentina, yeah, Argentina means silver. The name Argentina is because they found silver there. Yeah. Argentina, Argentina, Argent in French, in Latin, any Latin language, Argent mean, I just said it, no gold, silver. Yeah. So Argent means silver. Can you imagine, the whole place, because they found silver there, they call it silver. So it went on and on and on, Martinique. I don't know if you heard about Martinique. Martinique? Yeah, a flower that used to make a drink, so they call the whole place Martinique. And you see a bunch of Africans calling themselves Martinique. So, wine, like some kind of alcohol drink, flowers that they used to grow there, so they call it Martinique. So whatever resources they get from a place, they just name the whole bunch of people. You are a flower, you are, even the names. In Martinique, people call tables chair. Yeah, people. Because like, the slave master will look at you, what name am I going to, for my bed? If you're doing my bed, I'll call you from bed. Or chair or table. Yeah, just worse than naming a cow or a pet. Because even a pet, you think twice about a name that sounds. No. For us, it was just about what kind of resources the Western power get from you. They name you the person. You take the name of that resources. Argentina, Argent, Cameroonian, Trim, Gold Coastian, Ivory Coast. You name. You can go along the list. You find whatever resource they get from there. They just tag you and the name and everything. And this is the logic that these people have. I guess even in Iraq or them places there, in the map, not in the official map, but I'm sure in the privacy, they will call Iraq oil north, oil south. Yeah, because profit, right? They're looking for profit and they're looking for where the resources are. So for them, the map is not even Iraq or Iraqi. They don't care about who is Iraqi, Iraqi. They care about what we get there. We get oil. Okay, let's call it oil from north, oil from south, oil from east, and that's so we had to. Yeah, I mean, go back to Chairman O'Malley. He came up with like a theory that define the world in the eyes of African slaves. Like it says, if your worldview is based on other people's philosophy, you find how to even contemplate victory. You're not going to see victory. If your whole definition of reality is based on someone else's reality, how the hell are you going to end up winning your own control of yourself, your land, your resources? So he came up with ideology called African internationalism, which I drove much of the things that been sharing with you come from that worldview, that perspective about recognize that if you're not in control of your destiny, you're just a slave. If you don't control your economy, you don't control life, you don't control anything, you're just a slave. And if you recognize that you come from where you are, you're a slave, and then you view the whole thing that goes along around, then you stop calling investment, you call them looting, because you don't gain, as a slave, $1 a day, you don't gain anything from your labor. Yeah, so that's who I'm involved with, and the website for like much more information about our philosophies. Uhuru News, that's why we highlight each other. We say Uhuru. Uhuru just means freedom. And we believe oppressed people's first duty every day must be to remind themselves that they need freedom. And that's why we highlight each other. We say Uhuru, meaning freedom must be in the minds of oppressed people 24/7, rather than rap, music, this and that. No, freedom has to be there. And, that's how when we greet each other in London, anywhere, we say Uhuru, because we remind ourselves of the task that is needed for us to be a people. Swahili, I mean, not only because it's in Swahili, but because in the 50s, there was a group of our people in Kenya that we call the Mau Mau that stood up against British colonialism. They're the one who made the Uhuru word popular, because whenever they were galvanizing people, organizing people, they say we need Uhuru, and then they contaminate the rest of Africa. Everyone wanted Uhuru, freedom, and they were, so that's how Uhuru became popular from Africa, and then he crossed the Atlantic, went to the US, and that's how, yeah, Uhuru word. The key is the connection among us, and the people's connection, because we've been waiting for a very long time for the people in power to connect us, but it's not coming. It's not happening. It's not happening because it's not in the interest of the rulers of this world to let the people connect. They want you to go through embassies and to go through protocols and everything, because protocols allow you to see what they want you to see. But if we have our own freedom to connect, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. So, very glad we've done the first, and check your time. if there's any topic or names of cooperation that need to be exposed, or the kind of campaign, or like how we can get people involved without even people doing much, because people are still so busy about Christmas, this and that. But sometimes, even for a little Christmas card, say remember the people of Congo, Christmas card can be a form of, you know what I'm saying? Like anything, anybody can do something according to what they can do. Like we don't ask people to go and in front of the White House for every day. You know, we just, from wherever you are, remember people around you, that remember the genocide of the people of Congo. Remember, connect Congo and the environment, connect Congo and whatever is going on around, unemployment. Remember, if there was no oppression there, cheap labor there, then you will not lose your job because they will not take your job there. You know, there's all kinds of connection and campaign that we can push, and people can see themselves, because that's the thing. People don't see themselves in other people's struggle. Like, you know, people, Syria. What about Syria? What's me and Syria have to do in common? I mean, that's the law of cooperation we need to have. Syria, these Syrian people. Why are they coming to take our jobs? I mean, that's the American way of taking our job. But then, you don't say, if they don't bomb these people are not coming to take our jobs. And if, you know, disperse these people, you know. So the whole connection has to be established in the best kind of way. And then from very small campaign, I've seen churches, a church in the US, as I told you before, they gave themselves like I'll switch my phone for 4 hours and leave a voicemail like this is to boycott or in solidarity with the genocide in the Congo. Just 4 hours a day, a month. You know, there's so much we can do, and it works. Because how do I know it works? If it didn't work, then Apple will not bother to make that statement about buying genuine content from Knowles and like it will not. But because they listen to our conversations sometimes, they know, oh, we're in trouble. What are we gonna do? They hold their own PR, you know, public relations. What can we do? Oh, I know. And they study and say, let's do it this way. But then, as you push them one step backward, be ready to push them to the second step back. We have to make sure they are in defensive kind of. Yes, time, yeah. We've done this, we've done good, and that's how we force them to do some stuff because they are on the defensive. They're like, oh, we built the school, we did, but we know it's not good enough. We still pushing them, put defense, government, people in power, people in charge. They always have to be. If they know, then they start to project the oppression. Because if they're on the defensive, I mean, we are, and we are. Why? Because we're trying to defend the kind of oppression. Our mine is different. Yours, no, the defensive has to be them. They have to be. We have to push them. No, sir, this is the word. They go. We reverse the oppression because I don't know, but it sums up with one have to oppress the other, and in I prefer to oppress the ruling class because at least we don't have guns to do the damage that they can do. We oppress them just means that we force them to do some stuff that even sometimes are against the interests of the few to serve. So whoever, I know some oppression takes place, but then me, I'm comfortable, you know, claiming the oppression of the majority to the minority because the majority, they don't use violence as that, you know, it's not your life threatening, stuff like that. No. Losing your job, yeah, like your political career, maybe, and it's not life. I know it's, you know, but then that kind of oppression is good because it serves the many. And if you leave the oppression in the hands of the few, and the few have army, guns, police, and these things, and we know what they do. When they come up hard on us, we know. I've seen how they disperse the 1% movement. You know, you know, that's the oppression of the few. See, when they see you threaten what they have, and you see their reaction. I saw people from 1% dispersing all over the place because they were, in reality, they're not that majority. They are a minority of a minority, and we are the majority. And if they had a plan from them seeking the unity from us to them, if they recognize everything the 1% were doing to us, there will be a vast majority. And, you know, things would have been different. No one could have crushed them because, can you imagine worldwide majority being in front of the U.S. Embassy worldwide? Like we don't want Wall Street's are criminal. Can you imagine how in that process you exchange information and people who have no clue about Wall Street will know about the IMF, the criminals and everything. Because like people in Africa, they just think IMF is a good thing. Oh yeah, the majority think IMF, World Bank, these are good guys. They help us. But they don't know about the few that runs the Wall Street, and the few that run Wall Street, how they are taking stuff from their own people right there in the US. If you do hold that connection, then it takes more, because what they do is sometimes they'll bring a kind of corruption to divide us. But if you take all the money to pay all of us to silence us, that's where we are. But if you know, the minority is based on the assumption that the only minority that deserves some good lives are white people in the US or Europe, and then the rest they have to just go by the $1 a day, because that's the reality. I never believed in the $1 a day, like you know, like when the IMF and the statistics used to say $1 a day. I thought it was a joke, but then I went to Africa, then I saw the $1 a day. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw like this woman with 5 children. She sells mangoes, and she has 5 children. She sells mangoes, and every day she was trying to raise $4 to feed 5 children plus herself 6. So that's literally that $1 a day. Oh yeah, because to me that $1 a day, I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh, people must be $1. How the hell is one can survive? No, then be on the ground, seeing the struggle of you know, ordinary people every day selling mango on the street, trying to raise $5. She got five children plus herself. That's less than $1. And then you see this person selling water on the streets of Kinshasa, the capital of Congo, and you know, you talk to her, you interview the person. Okay, you're selling water. How much do you make? And they tell you the money. When you convert the money in dollars, the man is trying to raise like $6-7, and you say, how many children you have and your wife? So I've got 5 children and my wife, and you start to understand that the $1 is real. It's not just a statistic. It's real, and the same person, if they ever have the bad luck of being sick, because that's where the $1 a day kill you earlier, because when you go to the hospital, the minimum payment is $20, and your $5 a day, you're not gonna have money, because every day you raise that money just to maintain yourself, to live, to, you know, make it to the next day. But then you ever fell sick, you go to the hospital, you die, because you don't gain any treatment unless you pay money. And you see, that's where life expectancy, you know, crumbles. It gets old before it is. I mean, it all makes sense now. You start to understand, okay, $5 a day to maintain themselves every day. But then if they ever fell sick, they have to go to the hospital. If they can't pay them, then they have to go back home sick. And then, you know, at some point they will die. And then, you know, it makes sense now. You say, oh, okay, 47, 45 years, woman is 52, men's are 47. And, you know, you start to understand the whole things like, okay, so even the whole system is taking life from us. It's imposing 47 life expectancy. 47 years, the average. And, you know, that's where we are.